you fake like that.
Welcome everybody, and hello to all the listeners here in this room and to all the listeners in the stream. Welcome to our panel discussion, Embracing the Challenge Being an Independent Musician in Today's Music Industry. And thank you for taking part in this panel, Miran, Esteban, Laura, Maria. First of all, could you please describe yourself in a few sentences and tell us what do you do actually in the independent music scene?
Hello everyone, I'm Miran from Ljubljana, Slovenia. I have many hats actually. One of them is I'm conference manager at MENT Ljubljana, which is like a showcase festival in Slovenia, similar to Monkey Week. Besides that, I also am founder and I run a record label and booking agency, Monlee Records, which is like a home for what I found one of the coolest bands from former Yugoslavia region, which means Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Macedonia, Bosnia. And we also, yeah, like I said, we also book shows for them, so kind of, and in the past I was also playing in bands, so I can also understand the artist perspective. I mean, in general, as you can see, like, I can see this music see and understand this music ecosystem from different angles, which helps me, I think, quite well in what I do, and I also, yeah, I think I can say something about the artist perspective. You will talk about it today.
Hi everyone, I am Esteban, and first and foremost, what I am is a guy that makes music. I've been doing music since I was 17, and I'm 44 now, so it makes like most of my life writing songs and performing them around the world. I also have a record label called We're World's Records, and for the last 10 years I've been working with a company called Rocknrolla Producciones. We run a couple of venues like Sala X in Sevilla and Sala La Dos, and we do produce a bunch of festivals in southern Spain and the Canary Islands. Aside from working on several projects of European cooperation in music business, basically fostering and capacitating younger artists across the map in order to face, better prepare the challenges of dealing themselves in the independent music scene, which is a very weird thing lately.
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm an artist and I play in a band called Las Dianas with Maria, and that's it. We play with our friends.
Hi, I'm Maria. We started playing when we were like 50. We joined some music lessons and we were learning how to play guitar, drums, bass, and we were like, how about we make a band? So we made it and we started playing by ourselves, like with 2 more girls. And then we started playing shows, writing music. It goes on and on.
So today we want to discuss the role and identity of indie musicians in general and their position in our music scene and our different music scenes, of course. And so first I wanted to talk to you, Las Dianas. How did your career as an independent musician start?
I mean, we were starting how to play music, so we were making covers. And we were like, should we post them? Should we get more followers? But then we were like, let's write our music first. So we made our first single, and we had no label, we didn't have anything. So we were in Google, we were searching how to publish your first single. We needed a video, we needed a picture, and we have no idea about anything, but we were like, let's do it, and we will see what happens. So a friend of us made the art. The video, we didn't make any video at all. We had no idea. So we were like, okay, let's pause it. And then people were starting to listen to it, and we were like, maybe we should do more.
Yeah, like our first concerts were like 2 songs of ours, and the rest it was covers. And also like we weren't being paid, I mean, and the first time we were paid, it was like 100 euros, and we were like, oh my god, this is money.
Yes, at the beginning we didn't get paid for anything, but we were happy. We didn't even think that we needed to be paid. We were like, we were having fun. We don't need money. But then you start playing and you're like, oh, so you get paid for this.
So first it wasn't like an idea that you want to become like earn money out of this or earn money out of music. That wasn't like the idea of doing music, right?
For us, at the beginning, no. It was just like a hobby. But then we really got into it, and now like we really want to be musicians in the future.
We are also studying, just in case.
So Esteban, from a promoter's and also from a musician's perspective, what actually would you do if you would like to become part of the local Sevillian independent music scene? And I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a young artist. What would you do if you would be like the age of Las Dianas right now? How would you act? What would you be your first decision to do in the local music scene?
I think that maybe the process is the same now than it was 20 years ago. You need to have the pulse to make music like they had, like I did have. You need to start, you need to follow your heart, even though it sounds a bit weird, but if you want to make music, you have to make music, and you have to start making your own songs and focusing on finding your own voice in the way that you want to express yourself as a musician. And you need to pursue that consistently. I mean, I know it's hard because when you're younger and when you start in the scene, and I think it's harder now than it ever was. I mean, I think that I had it easier than it is now. But I would definitely recommend to do it like seriously. Not just, oh, well, I'm going to make a song today and I'm going to post it, and then probably next month I do a show, and then probably in a couple of weeks more start recording. No. I mean, this is a job where you need to be really productive and you need to do a lot of things, because you learn along the way of the projects that you embark on and the times you fail. So you need to embrace that process of failing consistently in order to learn and start making your way up in the scene. So the only advice I would dare to give anyone starting is to just make more songs. If you finish one song, do another song, and when you finish the second song, do a third song, and when you do one show, think of what you've done and just book another show and play in a squat place if you can, play in a venue, open for another artist, do as many things as you can with the time that you have and the resources you're able to grasp, but just do it. Like, don't think of doing it, don't plan for doing it, don't strategize for doing it, just do it. At the beginning, just do it.
So we're speaking of becoming independent artists, and I want you, Miran, to imagine a city with a perfect music scene. And I wondered, because we are talking about like just doing music and so on, but I wondered which infrastructure is needed to make that actually happen.
For the artists to grow. Okay.
Yeah, or for to realize your dream to become an independent artist or to play in a band. What kind of infrastructure is needed to do that, like in a city?
Okay, it's quite a lot. But okay, I mean, I think for the bands that is starting, I mean, one thing is like Esteban said, like, yeah, writing songs. So we need studio, you need, and then you need some assets or channels to promote the music, which is maybe local radio, some influential radio, journalists, medias, blah blah blah. So you can push your music around and introduce the audience to your music. And of course, I think especially, I mean, most of the artists I think are kind of, I mean, at least the artists I work with, they like playing live the most. So I think the live thing is the most important for them. For that, you need venues, festivals, stuff like that. And of course, when you grow, you also need, I think every artist need, I mean, at a certain point, they need a team around them, which means like or is it a manager? Is it like booking agent? Is somebody record label? Somebody who is helping the band out on different aspects, and yeah, we can go on like that with the publishing. Did I mention the label, which also usually? I mean, I think in my case mostly at least in Slovenia there is not really many managers, so I think usually it's the label, the small independent label is the first person that the artists go to, and then the label do everything. And then, yeah, somebody maybe at some point booking shows, but I think, yeah, the whole infrastructure is quite big. It depends on the size of the artist and the.
Could you give us maybe an example how the situation is in Ljubljana? Like, are there, for example, supporting structures for young artists? Are there like rehearsal rooms where you can go to, or?
I would say the venue structure is quite well. There's some really nice venues in Ljubljana where also the younger bands can play. There's also some festivals, so I guess there is quite some opportunity, and for the domestic artists, also for the international ones. There is various promoters doing various genres, so it's quite well covered. Media-wise, where you want to promote, it's a bit more sketchy, I would say, but luckily we have the radio student, which is also part of Indie Rare Network, which is really super helpful and supportive especially for the new names. So basically, if you cannot come to bigger medias, like the radio student is the one to go where you want to introduce new music, and they're open for international music as well. So I would say they're one of the most important players or infrastructure that helps the artists also. And what I like, they're also like the hub, kind of. I see it as a hub for the not only to promote music, but also to educate the technicians, the speakers, the journalists. So basically, younger generation of all this, which also helps. I mean, creates the infrastructure that is needed for the development of the artists. What else? I would say we're, in general, like in Ljubljana or in Slovenia, we're short on managers. So basically, many artists do things on their own or with the help of a friend. But I think it's quite a vibrant scene.
So it's a question to all of you. I wondered if such infrastructures are not represented in the city or somehow. Do you think it's a privilege in our music industry to even become an independent artist? Does somebody want to answer this question? Maybe you. How is it in Sevilla?
Well, I think it's a privilege that we all give for granted to even be in a place like this speaking about music nowadays. We could be in Gaza. So I think you have to keep track on how really privileged we are and how little people we are in this situation in the world. And from there, you have to work your way up around the concept of privilege. I mean, being an independent musician, for me, it's a great thing in terms of freedom, of artist capacity, and of managing decisions. But at the same time, it's also a sketchy path at the beginning, because there's a lot of mixed signals and mixed perceptions of what it is to become a professional musician. So when you're in the independent side, it looks like you're doing this because of it's a hobby, but then you need to face taxing and you need to face contracts, and you don't know how to do it. So I think it's a weird moment for younger independent musicians, because there is a very little level of capacitation and professionalism in the independent scene, which is leading dramatically to a very high levels of losing control of their project. So in a way, they're independent, but they're not able to lead their own projects. So that's a sketchy situation, in my opinion. But in the end, I always try to see the positive, and I think that being able to write your music and do the things that you like to do, and even have the chance to do this, even if it's as a hobby, I think it's a privilege, and we live in a very nice place where we can do this, and we sometimes keep that for granted. But I think it's good to remember how hard things in other places where there's no even possibility to even think about making music.
From a musician's perspective, what would you say, Maria, to this topic? Like, is it a privilege to you to do music?
Yes, of course, but it also takes a lot of work. You need to write your music. You need to compose every single bass, drums, guitars. Then you have to think about the art. Maybe make it yourself. Maybe pay somebody else to do it, which will lead to you losing money, because if you have to pay somebody for the master, for the art, for the video, for the net, then you have to pay Spotify, and
also if you don't have someone that records you in your city, for example, you have to move to another place to record your music. So that's like a really disadvantage for you. Luckily for us, it's not like that. In our city, we have like a really good infrastructure in Granada, but probably someone that lives in a village or something like that has less opportunities to become an independent artist because they don't have the means to be that.
also, thanks to the internet, everybody can make music now. You can go to YouTube and search for a song that has already been made, and then you write the lyrics, and then you can post it. So everybody can make music nowadays, but that's fair also.
Depends on what
Yes.
music do you want to
But
do.
I would say the real advantage of the internet is not accessing what's already been made and trying to sing on top of that. I know there are some barriers when you live in smaller cities, but it's cheaper to buy a laptop and a soundboard and a sound and an audio interface and learn how to record yourself than to record 2 records in a professional studio. So, I did that. For the first 15 years of my career, I was paying studios to record my music. Then when I started this band I'm in now, we decided that we were going to have that control. So we bought the equipment. It was cheaper than the last record we did. And we spent a year and a half studying how to record. And we've done 14 records since then. No record ever, no studio ever again.
Did you learn by yourself?
Yeah.
By
Internet.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you have internet, you can learn how to make music. If you don't,
Well, I'm giving for granted that most of us have internet
we're
nowadays.
talking about the privileges, I think.
Yeah, of course.
And
The
the infrastructure. I don't know.
For example, in Germany, when you live in a small village, you don't have really fast internet or something. The internet infrastructure isn't that great in German villages.
Well.
So I wanted to talk to you about actually being then, before now you became an independent artist, now you are an independent artist. So you are signed on a label, Las Dianas, and I wondered, how does your label support you?
So we started making music, and we posted the first single, and some people were contacting us, but we were 17. We didn't know anything. We have never signed a contract before of any type. So many people contacted us, and we were talking to our parents should we sign? And our parents were like, maybe you should go to the university. So then we met some people, but we were not really sure. But then Casa Maracas, a record label from our city, was like, can we meet? So we went to their office and we had a chat, and we were like, they live in Granada, they seem nice, they believe in us. So we were like, maybe we should try. So we went there, and when we read the contract, we were like, we don't understand anything. It was like money, taxes. We had never paid taxes. We had never earned any money at all.
And who helped you out then? Who read the contract with you together?
Our parents.
Are your parents lawyers?
What?
Are they lawyers?
No,
Are they
They're
coming?
not from music industry, I guess.
no, not at all.
But they're supporting you by going to your concerts.
Yes, that of course, because then they get to the VIP and they get free food, free drinks. But at that time, they were like, are you really sure about signing? Because this means 2 years, and then maybe you want to move to another city, maybe you want to study something outside, maybe you want to work. But we were like, we are signing. We believe in this, they believe in us, this is happening. And then we will see.
So you decided to sign this on a label, so can you still be independent through, even though you signed a label? Like, do you have decisions you can, like, for example, you wanted to study in another city, or, yeah, sorry.
Yes. For example, Laura lived in Berlin last year. Well, not Berlin, but...
In Leipzig, yes. But, I mean, it's hard because it's a job, and you have to do your job because you have a contract. And, yeah, we believe that we are young and free, and I went there, but I was there and I was thinking all the time, oh my God, I have to write this song, I have to go to Spain, I have to, so yeah, you have to be there, and I think we don't have this freedom, like, because it's a job, and you have to compromise. But yeah, I mean, our label really believed in us and really gave us our space, and I think they really supported us, and now, yeah, they are helping us for the next album, like monetarily, and I don't know, like they really, really help us. They are like people. It is not like a big thing behind you, like a multinational or something like that. They are people, and they are there with you. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Also, at that time, we needed money because we were like, if we want to record an album, you need to pay for a producer because we didn't have the knowledge to do it ourselves. So we needed somebody behind us that could provide us that service. So we signed.
Well, also, sorry to interrupt, but I would recommend everyone who's listening, if you're presented with a contract, always find a lawyer and read the contract with a lawyer, and never ever sign anything without a lawyer that you trust telling you this is okay to sign. I mean, I'm sure your case is fantastic. I mean, but honestly, most of them are not. And record labels in general are companies, even though they're independent. They're looking for a profit, and they're looking for, which is perfectly legit and good. You know, I'm a record label, my own, not myself, but like I have a record label. But it is utterly important to have someone who understands the text and the law and what it implies to read it for you and to tell you, well, this money that they're giving you is going to be recouped in these ways, and you're going to have control over this or that concepts, and you're going to be able to get money back from the money that you are producing as musicians in this way or this other way. Again, I don't know your contract. I'm sure it's okay, and I've heard good things about Casa Maracas, but often it's not the case. So it's good. I mean, it's important to have a lawyer around.
Yes, we had to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys is like, for example, at the beginning they were like 5 years, and we were like, dude, that's half of our lives.
So coming to a bit another topic, Miran, you are the organizer of the Showcase Festival MENT in Ljubljana. From your point of view, what is actually the purpose of a showcase festival like MENT?
I mean, in general, the general idea of a showcase festival is kind of from the artist's perspective. I think it's a great opportunity to be introduced in front of collection of industry people, the people, professionals from the music industry, which is like festival organizers, venues, record labels, journalists, radios, all sorts of fields. So basically, it's like if you play on a regular festival, usually the audience is the regular people or the fans or whoever. While on the Showcase Festival, a big portion of the audience is like the professionals who can maybe many of these people are also scouting for the new acts, or just like curious to find out. I mean, it's also for them, it's a great opportunity. Like, if you have 200 bands playing in 3 days, it's yeah, you can make a good scan of what's going on somewhere. So and there, yeah, many of them are like actively searching for new interesting acts. So for the artists, it's like a great opportunity to be introduced to somebody new and like maybe to speed up the development of the artist's career. Let's say finding a record label, finding the booking agency, finding the or just simply getting the festival booking, or if nothing else, at least maybe some, I don't know. For example, at MENT, let's say we always invite like I don't know, 10 plus like journalists from all over Europe, like from UK and stuff. So basically, you can also get reviews in like, I don't know, the Quietus or something like this. So basically, for many of the young artists, I mean the emerging artists, especially maybe coming from Eastern Europe, it's the only opportunity to be covered somehow in the, let's say, UK press, which can also like boost certain levels. Where I mean, so basically, I would say the purpose of Showcase Festival is kind of maybe. I mean it. I always like to say playing on Showcase Festival, no matter which one, is not the final goal of any band. It's just a step in the development of the artistic career. Like, so it can speed up the process, but it's not the end. Like, you have to have, I would say, the vision of like, okay, in 5 years I want to be here, and maybe this and this Showcase Festivals can help me on this and this market, but it's not the final goal. So it's not the holy grail of the music industry, but it can help, I would say. I don't know if somebody else has different experience with this type of event.
Did you ever had experience with a Showcase festival, Bastianas?
Here we played 2 years ago. We played in the Monkey Week. We also played in Granada. There is like a record store that makes showcases. And for example, on the record day, we played there as well in acoustic. And yes, I agree with you. Like, it helps you to know more people, and more people will hear of your band and will listen to you. So it's really helpful.
So do you think it's showcases are a good idea to reach a bigger audience or to connect with other labels and artists?
Yes.
Yeah, going on through, it's a bit different, like comparing a showcase to a competition, it's something completely different. I wondered, when you enter a competition as a band, like like a band competition, and somebody wins, for example, a contract as an artist or someone, what does it make you as an artist like? To what extent does it make sense to enter a competition as an artist? What do you think?
None.
No, it doesn't make sense.
None. I mean, I have won like the global battle of the bands with my band.
Yeah.
And I've won a very big contest called Heineken Green Space back in 2007, I think. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely useless. I mean, honestly, yeah, there was a bit of money in the prize, and then there was a couple of shows implied. But then when we got to win the Heineken Green Space concert, we didn't see any changes in our career afterwards. And the contract we were presented with after we won, that we hadn't been notified of, was terrible. So we had to fight that contract really fiercely, which was not easy. And I don't see the point, honestly. Why? I mean, how can you win a music contest? 2 by 1? By 3 minutes? Like, how is it go? How does it happen? I mean, it's not. I don't believe in band contests. I think they're bad for the music in general. And they're fun sometimes, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys have a band and want to go be part of it. Just go ahead. But in my experience, they're not used at all.
So speaking, you already told about a showcase moment before. So would you say a band who attended a showcase has greater chances to get signed on your label?
On my label, I would say it's a process. I mean, sometimes it's happened that you see a great band. I mean, like I said, we work with bands from our region, let's say. And mostly you know about them in advance already, but sometimes it's always nice to check them twice, especially, I mean, I always check bands live before working with them, because I don't know, also because we do the booking, and we want to sell the good product, let's call it in these terms. But it's easier to sell great live bands and if it's better chances, I think I would say it's like, you know, like when you're signing a band, it's like you have a kind of selection of criteria what appeals you, and there is always this, I don't know, inner feeling, which is in the end
So
always
first just make friends with you.
which is always the dominant in the end when you decide before working with some. But and like I would say it's similar. It's just seeing them at the Showcase Festival can help, but it's not decisive moment. But it's, of course, it's great if it's also if they play, and if you see also that there is some good feedback, that there is, you know, it can help out. But
So we conclude that competition doesn't help you at all as an artist, but Showcase can help you to get attention by different labels.
I would say that more than showcase festivals, more than helping you get attention, I think what they give you is a better perspective of the business. Like, I mean, of course, you get exposure and potentially new connections and stuff like that, which doesn't always happen. But I think that what definitely gives you, if you attend a showcase festival as an independent artist, is a better view of what's going on. Like, you learn, if you're able to see closely, and if you pay attention, you see the dynamics, and you see how sometimes music is not really the most important thing in this business, which is sad, but it's true. I mean, I sometimes get the feeling that music business is not about music anymore, and it's turning into a show business weird scenario where, like, it's more important who you're friends with or who you're working with in previous projects or whatever. I mean, I don't want to be so bitter about this, but this is like what I perceive in most of the showcase festivals that I go to, and I go to some, like a lot of them, and I see that this is just a good, very, very good training ground to see how this works, to understand a bit more of the ropes of the international scene, because sometimes independent artists at the beginning, they're not like very well traveled, and they haven't been to different countries and different places, and they don't really know how things may develop. So it's important for the younger bands mostly to go to these events, because you learn a lot by only seeing how people are interacting with each other, and I think it's a very valuable lesson.
Can I just add something?
Yeah.
I would say, like, the point of who knows who. I think it's not just the matter of showcase festival. I mean, it's also when you,
of course.
It's over present. Also, if you want to book a tour, it's again like who you know and who to reach out. If there is, when you send an email, if you don't know the person, maybe you will not get a reply. If you already meet him, you know face to face, probably you will get a response. So basically, it's in everything. It's about who you know, and I would say the network that you as professionals, as the record labels, agents, whatever, the networks that we have is the most valuable thing, I would say, and it's super important. And also on the showcase festivals, you can enlarge your networks, which can really, really help.
Well, 100%. But just one thing that I sometimes, if I put myself on the gloomy, darker side of the spectrum, thinking about showcase festivals, what I think is that sometimes all these events, from the smallest one to South by Southwest, I've been there a few times, and you realize how there is a side to it that if you look at it, you can understand that showcase festivals are like huge machines of the music business that needs coal to function. And the coal are the younger bands that think that they're going to go there and be discovered somehow. And I like to think that even though that's a necessary process, because I've been there. I mean, I've gone the first time I went to Liverpool Sound City, or that I went to the Greatscape, or that I went to South by Southwest, or North by Northeast that I did as well, though it's not working anymore, the Canadian Music Week, or Sound of the City in China, and I've been to all of those playing shows. And yeah, you think, oh, maybe this is going to break my career into something better. And in the end, the only thing that I got was learning how things were. You know, I never really got like an extraordinary opportunity from a showcase festival, to be honest. But yeah, definitely. I mean, knowing each other is very
And I would
important.
just sorry.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, the advice for the artists is really choose which one you go to, like, and why you go to some. I mean, there are so many showcase events in Europe and the whole world, so you cannot just showcase all your year long. So basically, really choose the ones that really will help you somehow. So basically, do some research, ask somebody, okay, is coming to this and this word within my strategy, and then, yeah, go there with a clear mind why you go there.
Just a quick yes or no question. Do you think showcases are building up in music the diversity of music genres?
Sorry,
Yeah,
what?
like if there are many genres represented, or is it like more, okay?
Not really. Most of it is indie music, underground music, because reggaeton, it doesn't have many showcases, or R&B maybe more, but trap not at all. So,
Well,
but I wanted to quit with this theme right now. So, speaking through about promotion of yourself by applying on a showcase festival, I wondered if you can say something to that, Las Dianas. What is the difference between doing promotion by yourself, for example, on social media, or having a promoter?
For example, we didn't make any press content. We didn't make any news. We posted on Instagram. We didn't even have Facebook, because we're like, people our age don't use it, so we don't have to make one. But they were like, do one, so we made it. And also, we post what we think should be posted, but they are like, no, you have to post this and this. So they know more about the music industry. They know more about economy.
Yeah, and they have contact, and now we can do like radio shows and interviews and all that stuff that before we couldn't, because we didn't have the means and we didn't know who to contact. And yeah, I think they really do like a good job in that aspect.
And they have the access to the mailing lists, and they have the contacts to the people who you told about. I want to talk to you with the interaction between listeners and bands, and playing in a band, working as a festival organizer, or working as a label owner means always being in contact with people. You, Las Dianas, stand on the stage, and you, Miran and Esteban, ensure that the stage stands. What do you do to stay in touch with your listeners who are in front of the stage?
I mean, I think social media, sometimes it's like a really good tool for that, and to be in contact with your fan base. But also, like when we play in a show, we get down and talk with people. And of course, during the show, you put the best of you and you talk with them. I mean, you are nothing without them. So you have to build this confidence and good relationship with them. And I think we are really social people. So I don't know, we just go down, talk with these people, also on social media. Yeah.
Do you have like merchandise you sell after the concert or
Yes,
so?
we do it
Ourselves.
We sell it ourselves, yeah.
And what would you say, Esteban?
I'm not really social, so I mean, I've always have a kind of a really deep obsession with being honest in my music. I've been, again, releasing records for most of my life, and and the only thing I have to offer as an artist is music. Is the only thing that I have are my songs, and I try to have them come across the audience as honestly as I possibly can. Like I don't impose anything. I don't have a performing persona. I don't have. I mean, if you see a video of me performing live, I can assure you that I'm dressing exactly the same way that I go buy my groceries. Like I don't have a different. I'm not the different person. So the only thing I have is that honesty. I think, artist honesty. So that's the only thing that I can offer. And I took that to my professional ecosystem as well. I'm happy to work in a company where we're all decent people, and we actually work on that decency and that honesty in everything we do, and we try to promote the festivals that we promote from that standpoint, and to work with the venues and with the artists from that standpoint. So that's all I really think that matters in terms of relationship with the people, even though I know that I should do more social things, but I don't, I'm really not social.
Thinking of platforms in the independent music scene to reach consumers and listeners, I wondered, Miran, what kind of platforms are particularly important in the independent music scene to reach consumers and listeners?
I mean, of course, I mean, in our case, and maybe the case of our region is like from the platform to deliver music, the Bandcamp is super important, also because Spotify was not present until 3-4 years ago. So basically, all the independent artists were really relying hard on Bandcamp. Of course, then we have all the streaming platforms to deliver the music. What was the question?
Yeah, which platforms do you use? It could be also as well an analog platform, yeah, like selling your music after a concert on merchandise.
Okay.
Like what is actually
the
most important thing?
I mean, like, I would say for us it's the live shows, the shows that we book, or the shows that we promote. Is one thing is having the we discussed before, feedback from the audience, being in touch with but also like for us, we basically also rely our selling of our records on the live shows. So basically that's, yeah, in a way this is our super important platform. And then also like the platforms that you can promote your music, not only the social media, but I would say this, the kind of influential players on the market to deliver music, like I mentioned before, radio students is kind of okay. They are like one of the platforms where we can present the new music that we are putting out and stuff like that.
So are analog record sales and concert attendance the most important thing still in the independent scene, right?
I don't know if they're the most important, but they're definitely important. But more than the platforms that I think that are more useful, there's a platform that I miss, in Spain, which is radio. I mean, I know you guys have radio stations, and in Spain there's no radio stations other than Radio 3 or EMA or Onda Local who fosters a bit of an independent scene, and Radio 3, which is the national radio station, is hyper collapsed because they're the only ones, so the access is getting more and more difficult. And I'm super lucky because I know everybody there, and everything I put out in the label, everything I put out with my band, it gets space there in Radio 3. But if I put myself in the shoes of an independent artist trying to get to Radio 3 now, it's really difficult because the time is limited. And there's no university radio stations in Spain. There are no local radio playing local independent music. So that's the platform that I miss the most. Like, there's no radio. I mean, nobody listens to the radio in Spain. Even Radio 3, which is kind of super big, if you take a look at the audience and the shares compared to the other radio stations in the country, it's really small. It's really, really small. I mean, even the most successful program in Radio 3 compared to the smallest radio program on commercial radio stations, they're bigger. So I miss radio in Spain very much.
Yes, I agree. There are only a few really small radios in Spain. Young people don't really listen to radio anymore. So I agree.
And not even in universities. You know, we've been working with university in Sevilla called Pablo de Olavide, and we did a series of independent artists shows there, and we were appealing them to like, hey, can you just use the radio program? No, we don't have a radio program in the university. Oh, okay, so can you promote at least among your population the shows? Yeah, we'll do, but nobody came. You know, universities are kind of lost for the cause. And that's a problem because the younger people, I mean, they're the people that should be listening to independent music now. But they're listening to, I don't know which is now the radio station, but I think Los 40 Principales, I guess, or whatever. I don't listen to them as an activism standpoint.
I don't think they even listen to Los 40 Principales.
Maybe
I
not
think
even
they
that.
only listen to Spotify playlists like top hits, top viral in Spain. But also maybe radio is dying, but maybe podcast is born. Whatever that word.
That's true.
Yes.
That's a very good
I think
perception.
in our city, I think there's like this podcast where this girl is talking to a lot of independent artists and play their music, and it's quite local, but of course you listen to it in Spotify, you know? It's always the...
Also because
Nice.
nowadays, if you see a video, then you see it. If it doesn't have a video, maybe you don't see it.
YouTube.
So maybe podcasts can like join radio with video. So maybe more people will.
So you mean video podcast, like you can see the
Yes.
conversation?
Yeah, maybe that can be an idea and a new platform for independent musicians and artists and also journalists to present new independent music. Sadly, we're coming slowly to an end, so I want you to, maybe you can give an advice to the audience and listeners, and especially to those who want to play in a band one day. Yeah.
Earlier we said that it's not easy and that it's lots of work that an artist has to do, but it would be cruel, but it was never easy, and it was not supposed to be easy, like, because everybody would be doing it otherwise. So it's just hard work, like. But yeah, I mean, if you have the passion for music, if you really want to push your music out there, right, and put lots of effort, like Esteban said, puts lots of work, and it will pay off this way or the other.
More than to the bands, which I think they should, as younger generation, be more lucid about it than I am, an old guy now. But I would try to appeal the audiences. Like, I think, even though responsibilities are shared, but I think that they should really make the effort of discovering, like consciously looking for new music. I think the audiences, at least the audiences that I work for and the people I know, they're not really, I mean, they're becoming a bit lazy when it comes to going to shows, when it comes to going to the venues. It's like if they don't know the band, if their friends are not going, they're not going. And that's becoming a problem because we have this, I mean, we have daily access to numbers of ticket sales and our own platforms, and we do have our own ticketing platform, so we know what we're talking about. And it's like, some shows are working very well, but like most of the shows that used to work very well before the COVID are working every day worse, and we are looking at these tendencies worried because we realize how people are not looking for new music. For example, and to be very quick, at Sala X, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, we used to book international, completely unknown independent bands from Portugal, Poland, I don't know, from all over Europe, or even outside of Europe if they were around on tour. And we never had less than 80, 90 people. Now there's nobody coming.
What do you think, Lestianas? What kind of advice would you give young artists who want to play in a band one day?
Be patient. Like, wait, everything comes. You have to work, you have to wait, and do everything. Even if you think it will be useless, just do it. Play, even if it's for free. Even if you think nobody knows me, nobody will come to see me I don't know, Sevilla, just do it.
Yeah, and don't have fear at all. You have to go there, go on stage and believe in yourself. I think it's really important to believe in your song, in what you're doing, and keep going on. Sometimes it's really difficult, but probably you will do it someday if you really work.
So thank you for taking part at this panel, Miran, Esteban, Laura and Maria. And I don't know if we have still some time, but maybe there are some questions in our audience today. No, they aren't.
I think what is really important. I can speak. I'm loud enough. But I think what is important is with these generations, what Miran also touched upon, that you have the older generation for which the context was completely different in building an independent career. I think the dialogue between these generations is what is missing a lot in current times. Especially you could see it in pandemic with this group of young people that was just going 16, 17, 18, were supposed to go to the first concerts, and they missed that whole period. And what I see in the Netherlands, where I'm based, if you actively try to pursue this dialogue between the older generation of musicians, organizers, bookers, and managers with the younger generation, it really can learn from each other there. And it's lacking a lot, and that also helps with Esteban to reach the younger generation to come to concerts. It's the same. You have to speak to them, and everybody now speaks about them, but it's not speaking to them. If you want to reach them and to make them part of your concerts or your venues, also as volunteers and stuff. I think this is a very important thing also in this larger ecosystem.
No, definitely. We actually we hired really young people to have them speaking inside of the narrative of the company, because we were 45-year-old people trying to organize things for 20-year-old people. And don't forget, we're not young anymore. I mean, we may look younger than we should, but we're not young anymore. So we're very conscious of that. I mean, we've seen the results. Like the club times of the venues, they're completely packed every day we open, because we gave the ground to younger people to organize their stuff. We provide the space, we provide a safe space where they can do their thing, and they occupied it, and it's now working really, really well. All the venues considered themselves smart enough as to think what younger people want. We were not, so we included the younger generations in the team, and it's paid off.
I also believe that the problem is that every day there is like 1,000 new songs on Spotify, and you don't get to listen to all of that because you don't have enough time. With the concerts, the same. Like every day there is, I don't know, maybe in Sevilla, 15 shows in different places, and you have to choose, because if in a weekend there is like 100 shows, you don't have money for all of them. So you are like, okay, today I'm going to Sala X, but then next week you're like, okay, now fan club. So everywhere.
That's true.
Yeah, thank you. You have another.
I have just something to say just about the radio, as we are like lots of people here are like linked to radio stuff. It's true that the radio is more or less, the traditional radio is more or less dying now, especially in Spain. But just to say that here in Andalusia, for example, we'll have like more than 100 local radios. And at national level, well, we are also working with networks which deals that with more than 300 local radios. More or less, the majority of them are communitarian one, and the communitarian radio are really linked to the community where they belong. And we have heard lots of stories of local musicians that did not think twice about it and went to the local radio and connect to their community the community of the radio, I mean, and it helped them a lot to become a little bit more known in this community, and it means that also linked to other community radio, because all the little radio here in Spain at least, but in Europe also, are quite linked together in this fact. Well, we are like radio from eight countries here, and we have been linked for about the last 10 years, exchanging program, exchanging content, and it could also be, I'm not saying it's the best way, but it could also be a good thing to go and to speak with the people that are linked to this little local radio, because they are not so little and they are not so local. And I would also maybe, well, just to say that it's not only about the biggest radio, because when you begin in the independent music, well, you cannot think of going directly to Radio Tres, of course, you know, but maybe beginning little and getting known and getting in touch with this little radio that are already in touch with others can help.
Yeah, of course, I think in our Indie Break project, the Hot Rotation, of our featured song, which always features an independent song of the regional scene of the radio, is really a pretty good idea of like exchanging independent music in our different scenes. So.
But in my experience, I agree with you. I mean, local radio networks exist, and that's something that is not, I mean, it does exist in Spain, but I don't know where the problem is in the chain of connection between musicians and the radios. I haven't really thought really thoroughly the matter, but I feel like the media in general has lost the role that they supposedly have, which is showing people things that nobody knows so they are known. And now it's like the media's need to show people things who already have traction so they get listeners or readers or viewers. So there's something perverse there. Like, I mean, and I feel, I mean, my band, my label, we're not really popular, you know. We're really small. Yeah, we do have many records and we've toured all over the world and whatnot, but we're not really popular. I mean, if we play in your town, you're probably never going to come because you don't even know who we are. But I think that what's important it is to, I mean, the journalism should be like investigating and doing this kind of labor of archaeology and looking for these interesting bands according to my criteria as a journalist and showing them to people who doesn't know them, who don't know them, because I think they should know them. But instead, it's like this band who's already very popular, I'm going to have them in my show so I have more listeners, because sadly, I think we're all under the dictatorship of the social media popularity and traction. So I'm sure that you guys, because otherwise you wouldn't be organizing this, are not like this. But we need to think that the ecosystem is rigged that way, you know? It's like press media, everything is like that, you know? I mean, for example, last Monday I did a show in Madrid, La Riviera, 2,200 people. I was playing with Explosions in the Sky, which is an amazing band in the biggest venue almost in Madrid. And I went to every press, media, and radio show in the area, like, hey, I just put out a record last spring. I'm playing in Madrid. This is the biggest show we've done ever in Madrid, and we've played this year 3 times in Madrid. We did Ocho y Medio, we did the National Day of the Museums with Radio 3, and then we did this show. And they all told me, yeah, but, you know, it's like, no, it's not really that interesting. And now, I mean, it's very difficult because you don't have the traction. And that's legit. Again, I know they have the business model, and I know that. But I think that's missing. That's the connection that's missing. Like these, it's like festivals, you know, like bigger commercial festivals. They don't, well, this is another debate. But I think it's a bit of a perversion at the moment, what media should be doing and what they're actually doing.
Yes, I agree with you. Sometimes, for example, radios will only interview you if they think, if I interview her, maybe more people who know her will listen to my radio. So, yes.
Does anybody has another question in the crowd? Yeah.
As you told you, there's a change in the paradigm of the way of listening, because the young people don't listen to the radio, but the radio is still important because there is other generations that still buying vinyls, CDs, and they are in the old school glory days. But what are your recommendations to have a list of not important, but I think micro-influence bloggers and radios to spread the music of our artists? Because I think it's not easy. Even as Esteban said, even knows the names of the journalists or everything. It's difficult to get that journalist to go to the live performance and whatever, but we must try it. And that's the point. That is our work. But I don't know if there is like a list in internet or something that we can help that divides in different music styles, because there is not sense to have a list with thousands and thousands of millions of radio stations online, and you can divide if you are indie or you are reggae or whatever. What are the recommendations to do that?
Sorry, I don't know if you. I always do. I have some like recommendations that I usually give to younger people or people who ask me anyway. And one of the things that I do tell them is that if you want to do something you're not doing and you don't know how to do, look someone that you can compare with, but it's like a bit ahead of you in the way, and look at what they were doing 2 years ago, what they did last year, and do a research job on which radio program where they played at, which magazines were they featured on, which booker were they working with, which venues were they playing on, and start from them working your way up to the contacts. I mean, it's hard work and it's very boring, but I've done that many, many times. You know, you find someone that you think, oh, this band's doing what I would like to be doing next year. How did they get there? I mean, and start looking for the right. I mean, not like looking for untouchable concepts, but this band's doing this, I want to do that, let's see if I can, and let's look for the right people to do it. So, but there's no formula in the end. I mean, every band's different, every situation is different, even the people that were working with that hypothetical band 1 year ago, probably now they're not doing that anymore. So it's all about keeping your archaeology hat on and just like look for people and don't be afraid to do things. Like, I mean, just write. I mean, send an email, call them on the phone if you have the phone, set up a meeting if they're in your town. Try to know people. You know, in the end, there's people. It's not machines.
Yeah, and when you write them, like try to put your email in the context, like that you know what they're doing, what they're following. So maybe you said, okay, I saw you did an interview with this and this band. It was really nice, because you are kind of, you know, if you're saying nice words of somebody, it's more chance that they will like you. And the journalists are like maybe the kind of person who will really like to hear that, you know, you're following their work and you're congratulating on their work. So, you know, this can help you open doors, I would say. So this.
And in the list of don'ts, at least for me, I really don't like it when I get an email like completely unpersonalized. Like when I get an email like, for example, my label, we don't do metal or thrash metal bands. We don't do trap. We don't do, I don't know. We have a very clear line on the music that we published. And I sometimes get emails from like bands who are completely out of the spectrum. Like, hello, this is our new record. We would love to work with you. Thank you. Which is like, why? I mean, why would you like to work with me? I mean, don't even know who I am actually. And it's like in the CCO field, you know, that is like sent even to undisclosed recipients. So I wouldn't do that. I don't like doing that. I like if I write an email, I try to do that. Like, hey, I know you because someone gave me your email, or I've been researching your job, or I've read that article, and I think that you may have something interesting to tell me about what I'm doing, just looking for opinions or looking for advice. In the end, working your relationship with people in the profession is not about binary meetings. I mean, you're not going to get something out of nothing. You get to know people, you get to meet them here and there, and you get to show them what you do. And at least that's how I like doing things. Maybe I'm not really successful, so maybe it's not the best way. But what I like to do is like not put the pressure on people. Like, it's not like, hey, listen to my record, this is amazing, just book me to play in the Balkans. You know, no, I don't do that. What I do is like, this is what I do. If you have a minute, just take a listen. And if you have some words to share, I would like to hear them. And if there is something there, if they like it, they will reach out. They will contact you. But just be patient and do the work, because you don't get anything like fast in this business. Even though you think it's fast, even though you see a success case and they think, wow, they were no one last year and now they're super famous. No, if you scratch a bit, it's been longer.
Okay, now we are finished, so we can say, just be patient as a musician, and yeah, I really want to go to the rehearsal room right now, just do music and stop talking about music. But thank you for being in this panel, and thank you for all the great information.